Welcome back to Real Life PMP. I'm your host, Crystal Richards, and this episode wraps up the 4-part series with Lori Schoenhard. In this final episode, Lori shares a pet peeve of hers in the project management world and provides valuable insights from her experiences as a hiring manager. We also discuss the importance of being comfortable with making small pivots in your career rather than feeling pressured to take big leaps. This is especially relevant in today's challenging job market, where competition for PM jobs is fierce and the job search process can be incredibly strenuous. Additionally, Lori and I talk about ways you can be a valuable resource to those who have mentored you, ensuring that these important relationships remain mutually beneficial. Let's dive into part 4 with Lori.
And then the one thing that upsets me, oh boy, I'm stumped on this one, Crystal. I just don't know. I think it's more of the people that lack humility. Like, we all have experiences. Don't downplay someone's experiences. For example, I have not worked in a Big 4 consulting company, right? I've worked right alongside Deloitte and Accenture Resources. I have not worked there, but I have performed the same capabilities that they have. But on paper, someone might look at me differently than they would look at someone who went to NY Business School and worked at Deloitte. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the other bias that I have personally seen time and time again was, you live in Iowa, you live in the Midwest, you don't live in California, you don't live in New York. I don't know about you.
Interesting.
You know, it's a location bias based on where you live in your geographic area. I'm like, I went to Boston University. I have 4 certifications. Like, what else do you need to know? I work for Fortune 500 companies as director of PMO. What else is it that you need to know about me? But I think there can be biases, and I've seen them in job descriptions as well. We will only apply if you worked at Big 4, or only apply if you've done X, Y, and Z. And this is where I think I'm a different hiring manager than others. I look at everything. I look at the person, their story, their personality, what they can and cannot learn, their passions, their excitements when I interview them. That's what's important to me, looking past that.
That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. And I think
it might be a little controversial, but I think that's important.
It is important. And then in terms of candidates themselves, and I think you've really set the stage where you said, hey, be okay with making small pivots, because sometimes I see people wanting to do the big jump because of something they saw on TikTok or Instagram. Like, I'm a teacher, and then I'm now working for TikTok and making, 6 figures working remotely.
Right.
And so when everybody hears that, they want to make that same jump, and it may not be as
easy for them.
Fast. And it's a different, it's a totally different job market now. I mean,
it is. That's the other thing. It's so different. Even in the last year, Crystal, it's so different in a number of different areas. I think, and I tell this to my coaching clients and people I help all the time. I will give you everything you need to know in the past 20 years of experience, but I am not going to be able to, I'm not hiring, so I can't hire you. I can't guarantee you a job, but I will give you all the skills and knowledge that I can from my toolbox to help you succeed. But you need to take that to the next level to help yourself, right? If you say, hey, pay, $20,000 and we'll get you a job in 6 weeks. In this job market, I think it would be challenging, frankly. And I would never want to do that to someone and then have their hopes, have it not work out for them. Right.
I'm with you on that one, Lori.
Hurt. That would hurt me personally. I would not feel good about that.
I could not promise anybody that way. I mean, it's just even like network. So I still will, and it's to our earlier point about network. Like, but I even tell people, I have a network of people, but they all suck. Like, they just don't give back. Like, like, not you, of course, but like, you're not in a position
like,
to hire folks right now. Okay, we're going to edit that piece out. But a lot of folks,
it's true. It's the quality of your network. It's the quality of your network. it's, I don't want to say feeding the network, but keeping the network warm. And it's
Mhm.
adding value to them. And you can't just take. It's like a
What are you
bank.
doing?
What are
Yes.
you doing to help them,
Mhm.
help them? And, I have a friend that introduced me to the term of good karma. Okay, fine. I've put out all this good karma in the world, and there's going to be some day that I'm going to need to ask a favor of them. But I
Mhm.
can't continually ask favors of other people if I've never done anything for them.
Yeah.
When I'm coaching people to network, it's, even if you think you can't help them, like if you're talking to a C-suite VP person and you're like, I don't know what I can do to help them, they're trying to help me, at least offer. Is there anything
Mhm.
I can do to help you?
Yeah.
Is there anyone that in my network you'd like to meet? Something, right?
Yeah.
Because if you constantly take, I think that's not going to be to your benefit, and people remember that.
Yeah. And I think, and my point in bringing up that it just, I try to send even the folks that are on in the hiring position side, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been pretty rough. Like, and I think
Mm-hmm.
partly, and to give them, some, grace, they're overwhelmed because it's just that many
Yes.
more people who are looking for jobs, looking for that bigger and better opportunity. And it's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot for them to, because I get requests, just as I'm assuming you are too. I get so
Yes.
many requests now for mentorship, just as I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
the same number of people who are applying for jobs. And I
Mm-hmm.
just can't be there for everybody. And,
Yeah.
what I'll do as a compromise, like, look, I can set aside an hour to give you some
Mm-hmm.
pointers. And I think that's really my strength, is that I'm more of a kind of one-off mentor to give them ideas of how to reach somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But my recommendation, I've learned this from, I think, Tarika Wheeler, and I'd love to hear from your perspective as you start winding down our conversation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, when you reach out to ask someone to mentor you, be
Mm-hmm.
specific, because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's just, people are just overwhelmed, especially if there are people that you really admire. Imagine they're getting this request probably a couple times a
Mm-hmm.
week. Like,
Mm-hmm.
be specific about, hey, I love this about you, or I've noticed you posted about this, and I really would love
Mm-hmm.
mentoring on this topic or this
Mm-hmm.
situation. This is where people would be more inclined to get back to you, and get back
Mm-hmm.
to you probably timely, to say, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's set up time, or hey, actually that's not my area of expertise,
You're right.
but I know somebody who you should talk to. And
Right.
that's really big to me now, is that I will tell people, what do you need help with, before I can just say,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I can be your mentor, or no, I can't be your
Or,
mentor.
I mean, daily I'll receive messages. I'm looking for a PF job. Can you help me?
Oh.
Okay. I'm always, sure, but
Mhm.
do you know where you might want to work? What area you want to work in? Where you need to give details about that, so then I can go, I just saw a job posting, I can forward this to you, or there's someone in my network I think you
Yes.
should meet. I can give you directed advice and assistance or coaching, rather
Mhm.
than I'm a PM and I need a job. Okay, let's narrow that down. And then if you were a coaching client of mine, what actionable tips and advice and coaching and follow-ups do we need to do to make that happen for you?
Mhm.
Right. Because I think that puts the onus on them. It's not, Lori, go find a job for me. It's what is it
Right.
you're looking for?
I'm not a recruiter. That's definitely, but I can
Mhm.
connect you with my contacts if you are
That
much
might be
more
recruiters,
focused.
that might be hiring managers, that
Right.
might be senior managers in the field. Like, it doesn't matter. But I
Mhm.
think that's the one piece of advice too. If you are looking for an opportunity, like you said, do those introductions, hook it into something. I noticed your post. I loved your podcast. I'm looking for this style of opportunity. Do you have 15 minutes? And it's a minimal ask. Do you have 15 minutes to meet me
Yes.
on the phone, to offer me some advice? And is there anything else that I can do for you? Like,
Hmm.
just wrap it all
I
together,
love that. I
right?
definitely love that piece of just like, is there anything that I can do for you? Is there anything, can I
Mm-hmm.
can I leave a recommendation for you, or anything like that
Right,
sort? I mean,
right.
that can go a long way. So you mentioned, and this is part of my question I love to leave for the audiences. Um, you mentioned that you have a consulting practice and you're coaching
Mm-hmm.
folks, and I'm so excited for you and that entrepreneurship, because I took a note of that. Like, you love entrepreneurship and stuff.
I
Tell us
do.
a little bit about your company that you have recently kind of like put out there into the world.
Yes, definitely. It's called Athena Project Consulting, and we focus on two different things. One is execution of the program and projects, building up PMOs and assisting and consulting in that area. But then the other part of the arm is coaching and mentoring project managers, whether they be people that are currently employed that are looking to upskill their skills, building out the PMO, or people that are currently looking for opportunities. How do I land them? Help me with interview prep, look at my LinkedIn, look at my resume, all of those job seeking skills that are required. And I think it's the ability to marry all three of those together in one package that is different than what a lot of other people may be doing right now.
That's awesome. And I noticed your shirt that you're wearing. For people listening.
Ah, yes.
Lori has an awesome shirt. I love project managers. And I think
Yes.
you have a little something around
little
that.
something. Well, the entrepreneur thing started last year. Funny story. I was working leading a team as a PMO director. We're doing a status meeting, virtual meeting. One of my colleagues jumped on the call and his shirt was red. And I said, uh-oh, this project's not going well. He's wearing a red shirt, and I made a joke about it. And then people just thought it was hilarious. I'm like, I need to make a t-shirt. One t-shirt led into a 5-figure business by the end of that year, where I have an Etsy shop where I create stickers, t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of things for really, it was just project managers. Now it's expanded to anybody, frankly, that works in an office, and we all need a little humor in our lives, Crystal. This job is stressful enough, and we all have like hidden jokes and funny things to say about dumpster fires and whatnot. But that was the one thing where I'm like, I'm creative. I want to run my own business. And I started this before, while I was a W-2 employee full time, and it's still really going strong. It's going wonderfully.
That's great. And I plan on taking advantage of buying some more of your goodies for the next indoor recess. So I'll make sure to also include it in the show notes. Lori, how do people get in contact with you? What's the best way that they can reach out and learn more about you and say hi and connect with you?
Yeah, I think the easiest way are two different ways, Crystal. One is LinkedIn. I'm usually on LinkedIn daily. I will get notifications if someone sends me a direct message. So send me a direct message on LinkedIn. If you don't have the ability to do that, go ahead and email me at Lori@athenaprojectconsulting.com. And I will get back to you in either one of those ways.
Awesome. Well, Lori, thank you so very much for the time together. I mean, I've already written down like 3 additional podcasts that we're going to do.
Oh, we have some. We could do this. We could do a podcast for years.
I still didn't get a chance to ask the question about, okay, you got the certifications, but you also got the master's degree. So might have to have just, especially, with me being a certification trainer, I think that would be a great conversation. That would be an awesome conversation, because I know some people are feeling it, and yeah, it's always great catching up with you.
Absolutely. The same. Thanks so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Absolutely, Lori. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of our conversation with Lori. Her candid thoughts on pet peeves, hiring practices, and career pivots have provided us with a wealth of knowledge. The tips on how to be a resource to your mentors are a reminder of the importance of maintaining and nurturing professional relationships. I hope you enjoyed this series with Lori as much as I did. Her journey and insights have been truly inspiring and valuable for anyone in the project management field or those considering a career in it. Thank you for joining me on Real Life PMP podcast. If you found this series helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. Your support helps me continue to bring more insightful content to project managers and aspiring professionals everywhere. Be sure to reference the show notes, which contains information on reporting your PDUs. Until next time, this is Crystal Richards, your host of the Real Life PMP podcast. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep managing those projects with confidence. Thanks so much for listening.